Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is Mohammed Sohrab and you are watching Evolve Search Virtual Learning. Guys, in previous video we have discussed about data collection. We discussed that we collect data through different sources, like we collect data through interviews, we collect data through questionnaires, and we collect data through observation and other techniques which we can use for data collection. Now the question is, should we call every person for interview, or should we give our questionnaire to every second person or every second walk-in to fill that questionnaire so that we collect information? Or should we observe every person for the collection of data? Of course not. Why? Because every person cannot be concerned person for our study. Okay, so we can't give questionnaire to every person, we can't call everyone to come in our and we cannot call everyone to come in our office for interviews. Okay, and we can't give a questionnaire to every second person because every person is not a concerned person for our study. So how we can determine that who is the concerned person for our study? So one thing we have learned that we will collect data only from concerned persons. Although if we presume our research in a way that we cover all items of our population, then there will be high accuracy. Okay, then there will be high accuracy in our results, but it is not possible to cover every person from your population. Okay, we can't collect information from every person. If we presume a survey in a way that all items in the population are covered, then definitely there will be high accuracy in our study. But in practically it is not possible to cover all the population. Besides this type of study required a lot of money, time and energy. So it is not possible, humanly it is not possible for a researcher to cover every element of his study. So that means there should be a small portion from whom we should collect our data. Okay, like when you go to the market, before buying something in bulk quantity, you take a small portion and you check it. Okay, before buying something in bulk quantity, you take a small portion and you check it. Okay, so on the basis of that small portion you will decide your opinion, you will develop your opinion about the whole quantity. In the same way, when you make a cup of tea, okay, before and you want to check the sugar level, okay, so what you will do, you will take a small portion from that and you will test it, and on the basis of that small test you will develop your opinion about the whole quantity. So in the same way, when we conduct a research, it is not possible for us to collect data from every concerned person, okay, and every item from our population. So in the same way, what we do, we only collect data from a small portion, and on the basis of that collected data we build our opinion about the whole population. So selecting a small portion from the entire population or entire thing is called as sampling. Okay, selecting a very small portion from a very vast population is called as sampling. So today, in today's class or in today's session, we will discuss how to select your sample size and how we can determine that who is our concerned person and from how many people we should collect our data. Okay, and from how many from how many respondent we should collect our data, because we can't collect data from every person because of three major issues or because of three major reasons. One is cost, second is time, and then third is energy consumption. Although more population we cover, the more accuracy will be in our data, but it is not possible for us to collect a very large number of to cover. It is not possible for us to cover a very large a number of population, okay, and large number of sample. So how we can determine our sample size, okay, and how we can collect data from that selected sample. So today we will discuss about sampling. Okay guys, now sampling is mainly divided into two types. Okay, we do sampling in two ways. One is probability sampling and then second is non-probability sampling. So let's understand what actually probability sampling. Guys, probability sampling is random selection. So the question is what actually random selection is. Guys, random sampling means sudden selection without any planning. So in random selection or in random sampling, researcher has no pre-plan which part of the population is considered for sampling. So researcher has no idea which portion of the sample should be considered as sample. Okay, and every item of the population has equal chance to be selected. Okay, and every item of the population has equal chance to be selected for data collection. For example, there are 50 customer in a restaurant, okay, and a researcher entered into the restaurant and distributed questionnaire without any pure planning, okay, without any pure decision. He distributed his question on the right of the restaurant, left on the restaurant, at front of the restaurant, and at the back of the restaurant without any planning. And this type of sampling is a random sampling. Okay, this type of sampling is a probability sampling. Why? Because every customer has an equal chance to get the questionnaire. Okay, so everyone has an equal chance to be selected for sample and to get the questionnaire that is distributed by the researcher. So this is a probability sample. So here everyone has equal chance to be selected, but he has distributed this questionnaire in very few peoples, and on the basis of that few questionnaires, and on the basis of the collected data from few questionnaire, few peoples or few respondents, he will develop his opinion about the whole population, about the whole customers which are part of that restaurant. So we can do probability sampling in three ways. In other words, we can say that there are three ways to do probability sampling or random sampling. Okay, first is simple random sampling. What does simple random sampling mean? That means selecting. That means selecting your sample on the basis of lottery or on the basis of lucky draw. Okay, what actually we do in simple random sampling? In simple random sampling, researcher create his sample through different techniques, through different methods. One of that is lottery and lucky draw method. Okay, what we do in lucky draw method or in lottery? In this method, we write the name of every respondent, okay, and we put it in the box. Out of that, we pick very few. Out of that, we pick few, and that few figures or that few items are called as our selected sample. Okay, and on the basis of that selected sample, then we do our sampling or then we perform our study. Simple random sampling, still everyone has equal chance to be selected. So this is a probability sampling. Okay, this is a part of probability sampling. So here again everyone has equal chance to be selected. For example, a teacher want to select a leader for his class and he writes name of every student and then he put it in a box, and from that box he picked just one paper, and that picked paper his selected sample. Okay, so here again every student has equal chance to be selected, but out of that just one has selected and it is selected randomly. Okay, so this is called as simple random sampling. Okay, guys, second is stratified random sampling. Okay, what does stratified random sampling mean? Guys, in stratified sampling or in stratified random sampling, we divide our population into different groups. Okay, and we divide, and these groups are made on the basis of members share such as education, program, gender, race, etc. Okay, so on the basis of some attributes, we divide our population in stratified sample. For example, I am doing a student survey to determine the quality of education in a specific university. Okay, and there are 600 students in that university. Out of those 600, I have required data just from 50 students. So how I can decide who are my selected student from whom I collect my data? So here in stratified sampling, what I will do, I will divide these 600 students into different groups on the basis of their program, on the basis of their shift sections, okay, on the basis of their faculty. Okay, in different ways I will divide these 600 students. Okay, so I have met so many groups from these 600 students. Okay, now out of these groups, I will pick few students from one group, and then few students from second groups. Okay, and then different I will pick few students from every group. Okay, so what happened over here in stratified sampling, then again everyone has equal chance to be selected. But major difference between simple random sampling and stratified random sampling is that in simple random sampling there is no group. Okay, and everyone can be selected from a single group or from a single department or from a single gender. Okay, in simple random sampling. But in stratified random sampling, I have divided my population into different groups, so every group has a chance to be selected. Okay, but all selected members will be not from a single group. Okay, because there is a chance that everyone should be selected. So here again we are doing probability sampling or random sampling, but here our data is more diversified. Okay, here our data is more diversified if we compare it with the simple random sampling. Okay guys, next type is systematic random sampling. Let's understand what does systematic random sampling. Systematic random sampling is a part of probability random sampling method. Okay, in this method, what actually we do, guys, member from the large population are selected according to the random start point with a fixed and period in interval. Okay, so here in systematic random sampling, our items are selected from our population on the basis of a start point. Okay, and that start point is a fix and it is a interval. What does that mean? Suppose there are 100 students in a class and you required only 10 students out of that. Okay, so how you can select that 10 students through using the method of systematic random sampling? You will do here, you will divide these 100 students with the required number, it is 10. Okay, you have required only 10 students, so you will divide the entire population, which is 100. Okay, you will divide that 100 over 10 and the answer will be 10. What does that 10 mean? You will select every 10th person from that counted figure. Okay, so you will, during the interval, you will select every 10th person for your sample size. For example, if we divide this 100 with 10, so out of this 100 students, you will select every 10th person. Like, first of all, I will select 10th. Okay, then after 10th, I will select 20th person. In the same way, I will select a person after every 10th count. Okay, after every 9th count, 10th person will be considered as my sample. Okay, and I will collect data from that person. So this is how we collect data in systematic random sampling. Okay. Okay guys, another method is cluster sampling. Okay, another method is cluster sampling. What does cluster sampling mean? Cluster sampling mean you divide your entire population in different groups but on the basis of geography. Okay, in stratified sampling we have divided our population on the basis of their shared attributes, but here in cluster sampling we divide our population on the basis of geography. Okay, like if few people are living in the Karachi, so this is one of the group, okay, for my population. Like few people are living in Hyderabad, okay, so that is another group. Okay, so here in cluster sampling we divide our population to different groups on the basis of geography. Okay, so it become easy for us to collect our data from a diversified people. Okay, from a diversified people, so our data will be more diversified in terms of geography. Okay, so the objective of stratified sampling is that we want our data to be more diverse. For example, if we are conducting a research in a way that we want to represent different cities, okay, our data is related to different cities, our research is related to different population. Our research should represent that population. Okay, if our research is related to different areas, then there should be some data from every area which we are representing in our research. Okay, so this is how and this is why we sometimes consider cluster sampling method. For example, if I want to know the quality of education in China, so what I will do, definitely I am talking about China, so it will be considered as bias if I collect data from just one city. So in order to make it more diversified, what I will do, I will collect data from different cities, from different institutes, so that I can represent the population of China in a better way. Okay, so guys, let's discuss about non-probability sampling. Okay, we have discussed about probability sampling, now we are discussing about non-probability sampling. Okay, what does non-probability sampling mean? Non-probability sampling is just opposite to the probability sampling. Okay, in probability sampling everyone has equal chance to be selected. Okay, and sample are selected by chance. Okay, in probability sampling samples are selected by chance, but in non-probability sampling samples are not selected by chance, but they are selected on the choice of researcher. Okay, so in non-probability sampling samples are selected on the choice of researcher. For example, if a team leader of 100 worker want to promote few workers out of their, definitely he will have pre-plan which worker he should promote. Okay, so here in non-probability sampling we already have pre-planning which item should be selected for our sample. Okay guys, first non-probability sampling method is convenience sampling. Now convenience sampling mean easy availability. So in convenience sampling we select only those item or that part of the population which is easily available to us. Oh, but there is an issue with convenience sampling. Why? It could be possible that that selected sample will not represent the whole population. For example, if I am conducting a survey about the customer satisfaction, okay, and if I am conducting a survey of a restaurant and that restaurant have different branches, okay, and I collect data from the branch which is nearly available to me which is near to my house and it is easily available to me. Okay, if I collect data from that branch and on the basis of I develop my opinion about the whole population, then there is a bias. Okay, there is a biasness that population cannot represent, that sample cannot represent the whole population. Okay guys, another method of non-probability sampling is purposive sampling. What does purposive sampling mean? In purposive sampling, researchers select a group of population, okay, and he collect data from that group, okay, and he implements some tools and techniques and methods and he conclude his study. Okay, if results are not satisfactory, then he go for another group and then he collect data from another group. Okay, so in this way, in purposive sampling, researcher make different groups. Okay, and group by group, he make his studies. He conduct his research. Okay, and he collect data unless he get the satisfactory result. Okay guys, another type of non-probability sampling is quota sampling. Quota sampling means you give preference to some items or some respondent in your population. Okay, and then on the basis of that preference, you collect data from only those population, or from those items, or from those respondents. As another important sampling method, non-probability sampling method, is snowball sampling. What does snowball sampling mean? Sometimes it becomes difficult for us to reach to the sample. Then what we do? We do snowball sampling. Snowball sampling means once you reach your required sample and it become difficult for you to reach to another sample, then what you do, you ask that selected sample to refer to another person so that you can collect data from that person. Okay, so in snowball sampling, you reach to different sample or different items through item to item to the reference of previous selected item. So in snowball sampling, sample is very difficult. It is very sample is not easily available. So that's why you do snowball sampling. Once your sample is not easily available, then you do snowball sampling. Okay, through reference of one sample, you go for another sample. Okay guys, this was from today class, and in next session we will continue it further. Good luck till to that.